And welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, Thursday edition, Week 5 prediction show. Paul joined alongside Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game. Getting stronger day by day.
I just went over 2 hours.
I mean,
I'm coming from a 2 hour
but
workout.
he's moving a lot of cement.
True.
Like Zach has a full body workout followed by jujitsu.
Concrete, not cement.
Oh, concrete. It's
yeah.
Don't disrespect us like that.
yeah, it's been, 3 days you've been working in concrete?
No. 2 weeks.
Nonetheless, Zach does get a pretty good workout in.
Not better than I got today.
Really?
No way.
How many pull-ups were you able to do again?
20.
20?
Not in one sitting, but
okay.
4 sets of 5. My shoulders are shaking right now.
Yeah, I know you almost didn't make it.
I'm sorry if I smell.
You almost passed out walking down the stairs. But he's okay. Well, you're not on the grind like Ziggy. Ziggy's getting up at 6 a.m.
I got back into it today.
Yeah, it's tough.
Jack's back on the grind.
I'm back on the grind.
Dude.
And I'm tired.
Grind is
sore.
tough. Grind is tough.
Is it possible? I got sore like 2 minutes after I finished a workout. I'm sore.
Yeah, because
you're 24.
Well,
it only gets worse.
It doesn't work out either.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it does only
right
get
after
worse.
it ends.
Yeah, like right after it ends. Like when you do your first workout after not working out for a while, you're sore like immediately.
I mean, it's been like over a year since I've worked out.
Jeez.
I tried to do a pull-up. I'm like, I'm trying to do one.
That's pretty good to do 20.
Let alone 20, yeah.
We'll just say 20 during the day. Yeah,
I just did 20.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. I guess we're now chasing down 2,000 subscribers. That would be the number that we have circled.
That's really something right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's great stuff.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to have 2,000 people want to listen to this. There goes the pen. Over and over and over. So we're going to do our normal prediction show. We'll each take a look at a big game this weekend that has caught our attention. But we're going to add in a segment on a young quarterback, a first-year starter. We're going to give them a grade through their first 4 starts, about a quarter of the way through the year. And we'll each reveal who that quarterback is coming up in just a little bit. Then our game picks, which is probably, we've said, our favorite part of the show throughout the entire year. Game picks are so much fun. And then the Jack Cap of the Week, which apparently is very, very good.
I love this pick.
According to Jack, this is very good. And he's hot, too. He's hot. So you're going to want to listen to this. So let's start out with Jack's game. What game do you have circled?
I'm going to Western Pennsylvania, to the banks of the Ohio River, to our season saver, the Steelers and the Ravens. AFC North clash, and I think this is make or break for the Steelers. Obviously, Baltimore not as much, but they can put a good chokehold and feel really good about the division if they can get to 4-1, and we're sitting there at 2-3.
And I've got to say, I got to say, for the Ravens, they've got to feel pretty good about getting 3 road games against their AFC North opponents, and each time the quarterback's either out or hurt.
Yeah. But what makes this a massive game now is if the Steelers win on their home field, they're 3-2 along with Baltimore. I think people are writing us off a little too soon. And
I thought you're totally out on Kenny. I thought all the Pittsburgh fans are done with Kenny Pickett.
Pickett's not playing.
No. But I mean, like in terms of writing you off, like people are done with Pickett, right? Like he's going to come back in unless you think Mitch is going to come in there and light it up.
I think he's ignited a fire.
I've watched.
I think he'll ignite a fire in this week and we'll beat the Ravens. But nonetheless, big game in a hard division for both teams.
Okay, Ziggy, what are your early thoughts on Ravens Steelers? Probably the best rivalry that we had growing up. I'm not sure about right now. The Steelers have kind of been down for a little bit.
The Steelers in the last couple games have been good against Baltimore.
No, they're always the AFC North games are always super.
I think we've won 4 or 5 against Baltimore.
No, and you can certainly tell that players are taking this seriously, right? Like Roquan Smith said, he feels like he's never going to be a real Raven until he beats the Steelers. You heard a story from Patrick Queen about how apparently, in the middle of a game his rookie year, Mike Tomlin was yelling "You're not a Raven, you're not a Raven," because they were getting blown the F out by the Steelers. Wow. This is a real deal rivalry, and you're going to get the best out of both these teams. And I'll tell you, it feels a little bit about it feels a little bit like college football.
It does.
I got a friend here, he's a Tennessee Vols fan. And every single year, the Vols lay a stinker against Florida. Without fail, 20 years in a row, their worst game of the season is against Florida. Anyone can win. It doesn't matter if you've got Peyton Manning playing for the Tennessee Vols. He never beat Florida. It feels exactly the same with this Ravens-Steelers rivalry. Like, you have to throw everything you know about both teams completely out the window and just watch it for 60 minutes.
Yeah, Baltimore's coming in here, and the whole world's picking them like easy. It's not going to be easy.
Oh, remember in the past, though, like the Ravens would come in, and no one used to beat the Steelers at Heinz Field. Then you have Joe Flacco.
Oh, Flacco coming in.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be crazy. And those games, too, AFC North games, the hits in those matchups are just, I mean, they pop on the screen. Like, you actually sit back, you're like, holy crap, like someone's going to seriously hurt in this game.
I'm a little bit nervous because you look back to last season, week 16 or 17, late in the year, we eliminated Baltimore on their home field. So it could be some vengeance there coming into our home stadium now.
I'm just looking at
it'll be a good one.
I'm looking at this game right now, Jack, and I think Mitch Trubisky is a good backup.
I think he ignites us. I think
he's a good backup, but the Ravens offense has been humming. Lamar Jackson looks great. I'm expecting, and I don't want to piss off Steelers fans, but I'm expecting Baltimore to come in and really exploit a Pittsburgh defense that has not looked good throughout much of the season other than TJ Watt, really. And then on the other side of the ball, I just can't see, like, let's say Baltimore just scores 20 points or 25 points. Like, I don't think the Steeler offense is going to move the ball too well. Despite all the injuries that the Ravens have right now, the Steeler offense has been, like, unable to do anything.
I mean, the last few times we've played Lamar Jackson, and I got to check stats and numbers to totally back myself up, he's been pretty bad. We've had his number.
I know, but isn't this has to be the worst Steelers defense in a long time that we're seeing right now?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's still like up for, like, you look at the front seven, right? The front seven guys, the defensive ends, the linebackers, those guys are good. And Lamar's main strength is...
No, I think the secondary is brutal.
Right, secondary is very, very bad. Their front seven is good. And Lamar's main strength is running the football.
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll get there to the game picks, but when we get to game picks. But right now, just looking at this, the way the Ravens just went in and really manhandled the Browns. I know Watson was out. I'm pretty confident they're going to go in. That was a great point, Ziggy. I didn't think about all the backups they played and injured Joe Burrow in the AFC North. And how fortunate is that for Baltimore?
Well, our backup's better than our starter.
Maybe, quite possibly. But how fortunate is that for Baltimore to be able to go into 3 division games on the road to open the year, and you go against backups or injured quarterbacks?
Yeah.
And if they beat you, all 3 on the road wins, like, that sets up Baltimore really nicely.
Yeah, you're 4-1 with 3 wins on the road in the division so far.
Yeah, you get them all at home later in the year too. So
I think it's a bigger game for the Steelers though, because I think if they lose this game, they could
it could spiral.
Yeah, it could be chalked.
It could spiral. Okay, Ziggy.
One last thing I want to say about this. You know, you wanted to talk about the numbers Lamar Jackson against the Steelers. His past 5 games, they haven't scored over 20. Right? They've scored 14, 19, 13, 16, 13.
Like, we've had his number.
Yeah.
For sure.
You'll see what Todd Monken can do. This can be a slaughter. Like, on the defensive sides. Like, you're just going to have 2 defenses going at it. It should be exciting to watch.
And that's what Steelers-Ravens is. You look at the last, like, however many matchups, it's been low-scoring, disgusting, hard-fought, like 16, 13
They're not really
13
pleasing games to watch.
No, they're not, but they're intense.
Oh, it's great.
I expect a low-scoring, defensive, sluggish game that the Steelers can win.
Let's go on to a game in London that I'm going to go with. The Jaguars and the Bills. I was going through, we were picking games for what we wanted to focus on in this show. And there were a couple of matchups that, like, catch your eye. But then I saw Jags-Bills. I was like, man, this is Jacksonville's opportunity to really introduce themselves to the league this year. Because so many Jacksonville fans were pretty confident coming into the season saying, AFC South, we can go on a run. It's a bad division. Trevor Lawrence is going to take that MVP jump. And so far this year, they're 2-2. We haven't exactly seen that. Now, going to London, you're home away from home for Jacksonville. You get a Buffalo team that is playing as good a football as they've played, in the past 4 years. They just past 3 weeks, they've outscored opponents 123-33. And the Raiders, Bills, and unfortunately Zach's Dolphins just have taken an absolute beating from Buffalo right now. Josh Allen, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, perfect passer rating last weekend. This is your opportunity if you're Jacksonville. You can take on the best team in the league, or top 2 is San Francisco. If you beat them, you introduce yourself this year. I think I'm being crazy here? You think Buffalo just whoops them?
I love the Jaguars in this spot. and I'm going to take it.
Really?
I'm going to give it to you from a handicapping.
Like against the spread, or you like them?
No, I like them to win the game. And I'll give it to you from a handicapping perspective. I remember last week when the Dolphins scored 70 points on Sean Payton. And I said, you only blow a team out when you're out to get somebody. And there's real incentive to do that. And it was a bad spot in Buffalo. They went and they got mauled. I think Buffalo was out to get Miami with the whole world talking about them. They destroyed them. Now Buffalo flies overseas across the world to London.
Jacksonville's been there.
They've already been there. I think Jacksonville's in a good spot to get them. I think Buffalo went out of their way to kill Miami. I think Jacksonville's in a good spot.
All right, so you're actually buying the Jags here. Ziggy,
I like the Jags in this spot. I think the Bills are a better team. I like the Jags in this spot.
Ziggy, right? I was saying to Jack, is it crazy to have confidence in the Jaguars right now and to pick this game as the highlight when Buffalo's been so good? You think the Jaguars are just another victim?
It's tough, right? Because we haven't seen what we've wanted to see from the Jaguars offense. Now, Trevor Lawrence has looked great, but things around him just haven't gone really well, right? Sort of like you said, the offense is just not functioning on all cylinders. The run game's not quite working. The receivers, they're catching the ball, but they're not scoring a lot of touchdowns. The red zone offense hasn't been great. Like, things just haven't quite clicked for the Jaguars. And I can't see the Bills being that bounce back game for an offense, right? This is one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Jets game is the only time a team has scored more than 20. And that was like an overtime walk-off special teams touchdown. They shut down the Dolphins. They shut down the Commanders. They shut down the Raiders. They shut down the Jets. Now, besides the Dolphins, those might not be the best offenses in the NFL. But the thing I'm worried about for Jacksonville is how they're going to be able to handle this Buffalo defense. And I'm not seeing a lot of good answers for it.
Yeah, you're totally right. 6th in the NFL in yards allowed and tied for second, or they're in second with 13.8 points per game allowed. But Tre'Davious White is now out for the season. He tore his Achilles, so a big injury to the Buffalo secondary. Actually, a huge injury to the defense.
I mean, if these teams play 10 times, I'm taking Buffalo 8 times. If Buffalo's a better team, nobody's denying that.
But you think this is like a circle?
Yeah, I think there's certain spots, like when the Cardinals beat the Cowboys, something is just pop up where a team is going to win that day. I think Jacksonville's in a good spot to win this game.
Just a sense there.
I will say there is actually.
I think being in London for a week helps. Buffalo's got to come out there now.
Sorry, I was going to say exactly that, right? Oh, the Jaguars have gotten to stay the whole week. They're not going to be jet lagged. They're not going to have travel difficulties like this. People sort of joke about the Jaguars playing home games in London, but this is actually going to feel like an ultra home game. That's got to work to their advantage.
Yeah, it will. I know you guys. I know that you're high on Jacksonville. I'm just looking at Buffalo right now as a complete machine. So I lean Buffalo pretty heavily right now. But
I think they went out of their way to beat the crap out of Miami.
Probably.
The same deal with what the Dolphins did against the Broncos.
I will say one thing to keep in mind is Cam Robinson it looks like he's going to be back for the Jaguars this week. They're planning to make a move to bring him back. And that will be, he was suspended for 4 games for violating the performance enhancing drug policy. That's a huge return. He's very good in the run game. He's very good in pass protection. It would help the Jaguars quite a bit for him to be able to come back and play. So if he comes back and looks good, I'm suddenly a lot more confident in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that's the last thing here on the Jaguars. It's through 4 weeks. I said in the beginning, people were excited about the Jaguars coming into this year. I don't think they're anywhere close at the moment to the tier 1 in the AFC. A lot of people were expecting them to be a big contender for the conference, but right now, what we saw at the end of the year and what we saw at the end of the year was okay. Like you escaped Tennessee, you barely beat the Chargers
in the first round, yeah.
And then it was playing close against the Chiefs with Mahomes injured, honest, for a portion of that game. I'm not ready. I'm not in at all on Jacksonville yet as a big contender, but this is a chance to go in.
A tier 1 team doesn't lose by 20 at home to CJ Stroud.
Even though the Texans have been good,
I'm not dissing them, but if Buffalo or the Chiefs or whoever hosted the Texans, I have no doubt they blow them out.
How about you, Ziggy? What game are you circling?
For me, I think it's going to the game I'm most excited about is a matchup of the two of the maybe 3 tier 1 teams in the NFC. It's got to be the Cowboys traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. This is a big matchup for both teams, right? The 49ers have looked really good. Brock Purdy's looked strong, but they haven't played the hardest teams, right? They've played the Steelers, the Rams, the Giants, the Cardinals. Maybe one of those teams is good. Maybe one of those teams is good. But so they haven't exactly had a difficult schedule. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have sort of been up and down, right? They've also sort of blown out bad teams, but they've lost to the Cardinals. This is a chance for both of these teams to really show what they're able to do. Now, you're not going to get the Trey Lance revenge game. That it won't be happening. Dak Prescott should be playing. But I really want to see what particularly the Cowboys are going to bring out, right? They've got one of the most innovative offenses in the NFL. There is no offense in the NFL except them that uses every single personnel grouping at least 1% of the time. Cowboys do. So that's always difficult for a defense to prepare for. Meanwhile, despite Trayvon Diggs being hurt, I mean, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're going to get pressure on Brock Purdy. They're going to be able to threaten the 49ers offense. So I'm excited to see really one of the first tier 1 versus tier 1 matchups in the NFL this year. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, we were supposed to get that in Jets-Bills, unfortunately.
Jets
are catching strays right now with this.
That's so unfortunate.
So in this game, Jerry Jones said a win against that team would feel like you're playing for the marbles in the NFL. And I think he nailed it right there. We put the Cowboys in that tier 1 throughout much of the offseason. We talked about them, the Eagles, the 49ers. They're the top teams in the NFC. And despite saying that, Dallas has lost the past 2 matchups in the playoffs to the 49ers. 49ers and Eagles are playing for Super Bowls right now, and the Cowboys are just trying to get to an NFC championship game. They haven't been there since 1995. So even though they're tier 1 and we say, hey, look at all the talent on both these teams, like the Cowboys just, for the past 2 years, haven't been able to get over that hump. And now this could be really one of those games that Dallas, I mean, talk about Dak Prescott. He has had enough of listening to 49ers stories from last year in the media. He's just saying, like, I think he had a pretty snappy reaction to them bringing the game up after they beat the Patriots this week. They were just talking about it. He's like, yeah, you want to piss me off? Like, appreciate it. I think the Cowboys have this circled, but at the same time, I don't think they're good enough to beat San Francisco. Especially on the road, too. This reminds me of what, I think this game will be a bit of what like last year's playoff game was. Lower scoring, about, 20-17 type game, close, but San Fran's D makes a play late on Dak. This is a huge game for potential number 1 seed. Yeah. I mean, if Philly's no lock at all for the number 1, it's like Dallas win the NFC East for sure. And, later in the year, week 15, 16, when if Dallas and San Fran are both 12-3, this plays a huge role. So, Ziggy, you said how great the defenses are. When you're comparing the offenses, which one do you like more in this matchup? So it's not just offenses. It's about how the offenses match up. Here's the thing 49ers fans should be happy about. The Cowboys play a lot of man coverage and have difficulty tackling people. Brock Purdy is at his best versus man coverage, and the 49ers weapons are at their best when they're making people miss tackles. Dak Prescott's big weakness is zone defense. The 49ers tend to play zone defense. On the other hand, the 49ers haven't had to face really difficult pass rush up to this point this year. The Cowboys have shown they're capable of transitioning into the sort of quick passing offense that's able to beat drop back zone defenses. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about strengths, there's a lot of strength on strength and weakness on weakness in this. I'm inclined to go with the Cowboys offense because I think they have the better quarterback, but this is really the game where we will find out how good these offenses are. It's funny because people are right now, Christian McCaffrey is starting to generate a lot of MVP talk. He scored touchdowns in 13 straight games. He has 7 on the year. Of course, exploding for 4 against the Cardinals is going to put you on the map. And he's just been unstoppable really since becoming a 49er. He's actually, if he scores a touchdown in this game, he'll tie Emmitt Smith for the most consecutive games in NFL history with a rushing touchdown. I look at it as San Francisco, they score touchdowns. They get in the end zone. Brock Purdy doesn't make mistakes. He's, Brock Purdy right now, he could go 11. Winning this game would make him 10-0 to start his career, tied second behind Big Ben, actually, who was 15-0 to start his career with the Steelers. I didn't even know that. No, it's crazy. But Purdy just doesn't make errors. And this Cowboys offense, what their problem's been this year, the one thing is their red zone efficiency is 30th in the NFL. So in this game, they're going to need to put up points. And now I don't think they need to score 30 to win, but you got to get in the end zone in this kind of a game because that'll separate wins from losses. The field goals versus the touchdowns.
I just think it is, which is why I lean San Francisco a bit, is you said this before, Paul. Talk about Dak Prescott, like the history, the Cowboys in these big games. I really go ahead and prove your worth. Are you a top 2 or 3 team in the conference? Can you go to the Super Bowl? They don't seem to win these games, which is probably why I lean towards San Francisco.
They're really, really good. But when the chips are down, when all your money's on the table, I think Philadelphia and the 49ers are both better than them.
I agree with you.
If the Cowboys want to win this game, I think here is the formula. They have to come out to a fast start. Why? Well, if there's only one thing we've never really seen Brock Purdy do, and that is execute a big comeback. Right? The only time he's even trailed in the fourth quarter in his career was that, like, I think it was New Year's Day game against the Raiders last year.
That's the only game they borderline struggled with him.
Yeah, and that was, he had a 3-minute deficit in the fourth quarter, and then they went on to
They
go.
still won by a touchdown or 10 points, something like that.
I think that game I'm pretty sure went to overtime.
Sure
they won by a field goal.
It was very frustrating because they were chasing the Vikings down for
they
the
were
Tuesday.
10-point favorites. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but in any case, so we haven't seen Brock Purdy do that, and the Cowboys defense, they've been talking about that a little bit this week. They know that. Getting Brock Purdy in a deficit and hoping that forces them to make some mistakes, I think that is the formula to execute. So the offense is going to need to be good. The defense is going to need some early stops, and they're just going to have to try and put the 49ers in a hole. That's a lot easier said than done. That's for sure, but it is doable.
Dallas has this game circled because
that's what I'm thinking right now.
San Fran kept them out of the playoffs last year, and Dallas could have won that game.
I think San Francisco is just better than them, and I'll probably pick San Francisco when we get to game picks, but the Cowboys want this bad. They really want this game. You know that they've been talking about this since the schedule.
They've had this circle since it came out.
Yeah.
This is a team who knocked us out last year, and we could have won that game.
It's just what weighs more to you, the San Francisco just likely being a little bit better roster, or that
Dallas probably
flame. I think
more.
Dallas has a flame.
For me, it's just mainly it's San Francisco at home.
Yeah.
Is what gives me the edge.
But I will say there are a heck of a lot of Cowboys fans in Northern California, so it won't be.
There will be.
It'll be.
I'm
fun.
sure there will be.
Man, all right. We'll reveal our pick during the game picks coming up in a second. Before that, there are a bunch of first-year starters in the NFL this year. There's a lot of them. Sam Howell's there. You have all the rookies, and we're each going to pick one and give you a grade for how they've performed so far through 4 games, a quarter of their first season in the league. We'll start off with you, Jack. Where are you going to go with this one?
I'm taking my talents to Green Bay.
Oh,
the Cheeseheads.
Oh, jeez.
I love Jordan Love. I'm going to give him a B. I'm on his bandwagon. He's got 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's had a fair share of good drives, a good fourth quarter against the Saints. The potential, I've seen it. There goes Ziggy. Put it on.
What's he doing?
Put it on, Ziggy. Put it on. There we go.
What are you wearing?
I hate to do this, Paul.
What are you wearing? Oh my God!
I got the I Love Love shirt.
Wait.
Look, it's not because I think that
You're
it's
a
not because I'm a
Viking
big
fan.
Packers fan. I'm not a Packers fan, but Jordan Love's played pretty good.
my
You got to
God.
admit that. For sale at the Paul Farrington store. What is it? PaulFarringtonShow.com.
That's so good.
We're selling those. We have those shirts up.
Ziggy, where'd you get that?
Oh, Paul Farrington store.
No, when
Show
did you-
store.
when?
A couple days ago.
We actually made those shirts.
No, absolutely. Look, I mean, what am I supposed to say,
I
man?
just said it. I said I love
Well,
love.
you're not supposed to wear that. You're a Viking fan. We're never, I would burn that shirt before I wore that. That's
Paul,
kindling.
You know what I am, Paul? I'm an objective
No.
fan.
He's a Jordan Love fan. He's Jordan
Yeah,
Love
no,
fan.
I'm no. Don't put that on me. I'm not a Jordan Love fan. I agree with you. I think he's something like a B. When he plays his best, he's a B plus. When he plays his worst, he's a B minus.
Yeah.
Like, look, here's the thing about Jordan Love and why
Oh my
he's
God,
somehow gotten me to
take
be
that
able.
shirt off.
No, keep it
Okay.
on. Ziggy.
I'm feeling torn. Zach, what do I do?
It served its purpose.
You leave it on.
All right, leave it on
Yeah,
for
leave it
this.
on.
And then,
Look, here's the thing. Jordan Love has played pretty well. He has played despite not having weapons, despite having a young offense, despite having the left side of his offensive line out. Jordan Love he hasn't been perfect, but he's been efficient. He's been able to get touchdowns when he needs to. He's been able to engineer some comebacks. And yeah, he's coming off a tough week. It's not great for Jordan Love after that Packers game. But all in all, I can't help but be impressed with him. So, he hasn't been perfect. He certainly looks like a first-year starter, but he doesn't wilt under pressure against Detroit. He did his best to play football. I'm willing to give him a B to a B plus here. I think he's been a very solid player for the Packers. And if I were a Packers fan, and if I were projecting things forward, I could confidently say, I love Love.
Jeez. So I'm going to try to
I got to get this stupid thing off. This is
I'm going to try to be professional about this.
I give him a B as well.
I think that's a solid grade on Jordan Love. The things we like, the things that I like to watch. Now, I'm not happy to see this, but he's really creative as a passer. And you kind of saw that, you did see that in Aaron Rodgers for his entire career. Like, Love throws with these weird arm angles. He's moving defenders with his eyes well. He moves around the pocket and can get out and make big plays. And what I've said so many times on this show, I love how often he's going downfield. He's not always hitting. Sometimes he's really been way off. But a lot of times he's been pretty successful. And it's just you stretch a defense and it opens up so much more when those start to hit. And eventually they do during most of the games he's played in. You open up so many other options for that Packer offense. And one thing to remember, too, it should only get better because his top 5 targets this year, not including Christian Watson, who has been out for a majority of the season, they're all in their first or second season. So this Packers offense they're young, they're growing together. The one concern here is a little bit of the accuracy. And I will say I'm acknowledging right now that he has the second most air yards per throw in the NFL. So he's taking more downfield shots. It's harder to complete those throws. Ryan Tannehill's the only lower completion percentage in football right now. I'm sorry, he's the only one who's throwing more deep passes per game than Love. But to be fair, he's also the second worst completion percentage over expectation in the league. And just to clarify what that is, it measures how much higher or lower a quarterback's completion percentage is relative to the types of throws that they're making, like what it should be. And so Love has been inaccurate at times. He has actually, even though like people are defending him, he has been a little inaccurate. If that becomes more consistent, we could be talking about a really good quarterback in the near future. So I am also excited for Packers fan. No, I'm sorry. I am also acknowledging that Jordan Love has gotten off to a better start than I expected.
You're acknowledging Packers fans should be excited.
I'm acknowledging the Packers fans should be excited, and it pisses me off.
I think when you talk about the accuracy, I would certainly believe that as he gets older and gets more experience, that would tend to improve. Look, we've seen the potential. We've seen what he can do. I think he's got it.
It's not a major red flag to me. Like, there are certain quarterbacks who you watch them play and they can't put it on the target.
And it is worth noting, like CPOE, the stat you cited, like that doesn't factor in receiver quality.
Mm-hmm.
And receiver quality in Green Bay has not been great, to say the least.
I mean, you talked about before the show off air how statistically good Atlanta's defense has been thus far. He had 3 touchdowns against that defense.
Yeah. No. He's been when he's on, he looks really, really good. And that's what should excite Packers fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he's off, yeah, you could get down in some pretty big holes. And they have been in some pretty large holes this year to the Saints and the Lions. And then even the Falcons to a degree. Oh, no, they were winning. That was the other way around.
What got me sold on him was that game-winning drive against the Saints. That really impressed me. Or the game-winning fourth quarter.
When he's playing well, he is a very good quarterback. And that's scary to see as an NFC North fan. I don't like that at all.
As it should be. Yeah.
Look, I like to see good football, Paul. I don't have hatred in my heart like you do. I root for the Vikings, but you got to respect the beginnings of excellence when you see it.
You're too new to the ship here. It's been when you used to watch, nothing used to piss me off more than watching Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, and Mike McCarthy like bear hug each other when they're up 48-0 in the middle of the third quarter.
You wouldn't rock an I Love Love shirt?
Never.
Would you make a certain bet with the Packers fans right now that you would rock it, or no?
I'll say this, Paul.
I'm always down to make a bet.
Like, what's the bet that you would make to Packers fans?
I think that because when's Vikings Packers?
Like any Packers fans who see this, leave a comment.
3 or 4 weeks.
October 29th, the Vikings go to Green Bay.
Oh, Green Bay's
I think if we lose that game, you and I got to wear the shirt.
All right, here's the deal I'll make. I will wear the I Love Love shirt if we lose that game on October 29th. We will not, because it's Kirktober. And I thank God we're playing that game in October. But I will wear the I Love Love shirt for one show and one show only if the Vikings lose to the Packers.
All right, Packers fans are going to love that.
Yeah.
They're going to love that.
Yeah,
They're going to come right back into these comments.
Well, I won't be wearing it. I'll be wearing probably the gritty shirt. And I can't wait for Justin Jefferson to go off.
You guys, that's like your house of horrors in Green Bay.
Justin Jefferson has that game circled after Jair Alexander grittied on his head last year.
Well, he'll play well.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the Vikings will play
All
well.
right.
All right, let's get off this. And well, never mind. We'll talk about it in game picks. Packers, Raiders this week on Monday Night Football. I will. Ziggy, you want to go or should? Or
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm picking a quarterback who hasn't been perfect through the first 4 weeks, though he's only played 3 games, but he's shown genuine superstar quarterback potential. And the guy who fits that bill, no question, it's Anthony Richardson. Look, Anthony Richardson has done a lot. He's a strong runner. He's got an incredibly strong arm. He's made some of the biggest wow throws this year. The only person who's really made wow throws like Richardson is Matthew Stafford. He's making relatively good decisions. His accuracy isn't awful. Like, there's been a lot I've liked seeing out of Anthony Richardson. Now, look, I get the completion percentage isn't perfect. Some of that's because he's taking shots. Some of it's because some of the balls are off target.
I question the accuracy a little bit.
Yeah, look, the accuracy is not perfect. But at the beginning of the season, right, when Anthony Richardson was starting out, people were wondering if he would look like garbage, right? If he'd just be a toolsy guy who, people were worried he'd come out and look terrible. And instead, what he did was he nearly led a comeback against the Rams, who have a pretty good defense. He played well against the Jaguars. He was looking good against the Texans until he suffered that concussion. Like, Anthony Richardson has done, I think, better than anyone could have hoped for. He's looked like a guy who's working hard and adjusting well to the NFL. So I'm only giving him a B, maybe a B minus, sort of like a B minus. You know, he's like sort of between there. He hasn't played well enough for them to win games. Unfortunately, he hasn't been consistent. But in terms of expectations and meeting them, it's been an A+. I think there's a lot to look forward to with this guy.
Yeah, he's very raw. But we got to keep in mind that he's 21 years old.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
Richardson is 4 years younger than we are. And Zig, you mentioned it.
Some of us.
Have been mostly impressed. He's like a bigger, like his athletic presence. What's the word? Presence or proud? Yeah, athletic build is just through the roof. He's a bigger Lamar. You watch him take off, and some of the throws he makes on the run, even like he's looked good in that sense so far for sure.
Yeah, I might even give him a B to B plus, Ziggy. I know you were more B minus to B, but he, like, the accuracy thing, that was totally true, and you nailed it when you said coming out of college, I can't think of many quarterbacks who had more of that boom or bust written all over them. There were people who thought he was just bad, that he wouldn't be able to throw the football in the NFL. And I wasn't in that camp, but I certainly questioned the accuracy. And then there were also people who said, no, this guy needs to be the number 1 overall pick of the draft. He's a can't-miss prospect. And I've seen so far, there are a lot of misses. Like, there are misses that you need to make and that he probably will make down the road in games. But, man, he has a couple, like, he can launch the ball.
He's made a few throws that I don't know how many quarterbacks can make.
The arm pops. And Ziggy, didn't you? I'm sorry, you had a clip, right? You wanted to show?
Yeah. Zach, can we get that up?
You can get
like, this is the all 22. It's him playing the Rams. This is the fourth quarter, the start of a comeback. And that you can see the kind of throw he made. And I don't think it's obvious from that exactly how he made it, but look at the angle here. You're going to see the Rams pass rush, particularly Aaron Donald comes in. And Anthony Richardson steps into a collapsing pocket, gets hugged by Aaron Donald. And as he's starting to go down to the ground, through pass interference, he delivers a 45-yard bomb to Alec Pierce. Right in the hands, caught ball. There are very few quarterbacks that have the awareness and strength to make a throw like that. The arm strength, the accuracy, the poise, the ability to stand up to pressure. Like, that is a special throw. And when people talk about toolsy guys that haven't really worked out, like Zach Wilson has never made a throw like that in the NFL, right? Yeah. He needs a clean pocket for 100 years. Anthony Richardson last week, the Rams pass rush lived in the backfield. He was constantly avoiding stacks, limiting pressures. I see a lot to like about him.
Actually, when it comes to being under pressure versus being in a clean pocket, Anthony Richardson has higher yards per attempt and a higher average depth of target when under pressure. Like he's making plays when he's getting pressure in his face and he can get out and make plays on the run. Like he's exciting.
These guys who love to scramble, get on the move, I feel like tend to do better when they are being.
Like Mahomes. I don't know about the stats on
Lamar.
Allen.
I don't know the stats either, but it's just
when they roll out, you're like, oh shit, this isn't good.
And sometimes I've seen from AR, like you mix together the velocity and the location. Like he puts it perfectly, and he guns the ball
most of the time.
Most of the time. But there are cases.
Talking
about his good.
I've read people who have also said he throws so hard sometimes on plays where you just need to. A little touch pass can do.
Yeah.
And you can put yourself in trouble if you're throwing a little too hard. But again, all these things will probably work out.
That's the kind of stuff that's teachable. Like the stuff that's not teachable is the athletic ability and the ability to sort of navigate a pocket, not get scared, and have some guts. He's got all of that.
He's a dangerous runner. I mean, he comes downhill at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
He's the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to have a rushing touchdown in his first 3 games. So he has 4 across the 3 games he's played in so far. Remember, he only played half a quarter in his week 2. I can't remember. Was it Texans in week 2 when he got hurt, when he got the concussion?
Yeah.
Like he had 2 touchdowns in that game in a half a quarter. And so what I'm most excited for Richardson too is beyond developing as the season goes on, he really hasn't been unleashed as a runner. He's been really dangerous. He's been potent in the red zone. But they haven't done too much with him outside of red zone running. He's not going crazy like you see Justin Fields had some huge games last year. And I'm not sure that will ever actually be Anthony Richardson's game. But they haven't really cracked into that part of his abilities yet. And with Jonathan Taylor coming back, like this is an exciting time to be a Colts fan. I am jacked up on watching. Like he's must-watch football for me.
And he's also been, for the most part, a pretty good decision maker. And pretty smart in terms of what he does with the ball. Like he's made the right plays for the most part. Like when he's under pressure or like he doesn't seem to panic. He'll throw an incompletion, but he won't turn it over. Mm-hmm. He seems to find the guy that he's supposed to find most of the time, or do what he's supposed to do, which is an impressive quality.
Yeah, geez, I mean, this could turn into an Anthony Richardson podcast.
I love it. I loved him in college too.
Well, he got that cover against Utah.
Oh, yeah, right. That's why I love him.
Jack's liked him ever since week 1 of the college football season last year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to keep it in the AFC South and go with CJ Stroud, who might be the only rookie in the league people are more excited about right now than Anthony Richardson. I think back to that first game he played in the preseason against New England when he threw the horrible interception, got sacked a bunch of times. People were all over Twitter saying, oh, Houston got a bust, like another big bust for the Texans here. And that's long in the past now. Because after that win, the Texans were 0-9-1 in their last 10 home games before trouncing you guys. 10 straight games at home. They hadn't won a home game since 2021, week 16. Been over a year.
I don't know that well.
And then they go and do that to you guys. But there has been 5 quarterbacks in the history of football. In the history of football, not rookie season. 300 passing yards per game and 0 interceptions their first 4 games of the season. Peyton Manning, 2013, MVP. Tom Brady, 2015 through 2017, MVP in 2017. Drew Brees, 2018. Patrick Mahomes, 2018, 2019, 2018, MVP. And Aaron Rodgers, 2020, MVP season. We're talking about a start to a career that while it's not really exploding in wins, they're not 4-0. I mean, 2-2 for the Texans is for a team
better than people thought.
For a team that's won 10 games in the past 3 years, 2-2 is way higher than people expected. And CJ Stroud is getting off to just a sensational start.
I mean, he's got it. We were talking about our draft show and ranking our quarterbacks. He was my number 1. I had him over Bryce, over AR, over all these guys. He's got it. I mean, he's the level of comfortability as the weeks have gone on is what's done it for me. That's the first half, 3 quarters against Baltimore. He was shaky, and I mean, fine for good reason. His first start on the road, whatever. But he's come back and he's looked amazing. On deep ball accuracy, he's great. He's got good velocity, making good decisions. He looks awesome.
Well, there are clips that are now starting to circulate from CJ Stroud, and there's one where TJ Watt just annihilates the Texans' offensive line. And he was kept clean that entire game. But part of that's because he just moves well. He's sensing pressure. TJ Watt, one of the best players in the NFL, is bearing down on him. He kind of just effortlessly rolls out and makes a throw on the run, on the money, 20 yards downfield. Like, he's been doing this for a couple weeks, and that's what we kept talking about. I feel like our show has been pretty accurate with this when we say he's improving every week, and that was our takeaway in the preseason.
But big time.
Oh, yeah. But preseason, we were saying he improved every week, more so than Richardson, more so than Young, and he's doing that in the regular season too.
Yeah, accuracy, awareness, velocity. He looks like he's been in the league for years, these last 3 starts.
And I will say, maybe the smartest choice the Texans made in the offseason, besides getting CJ Stroud, was hiring Chris Strausser over from the Colts. This didn't get a whole lot of attention, right? He was the offensive line coach for the Colts from 2019 to 2022. He was coming off that bad year, so the Colts decided to let him go and mix things up. Boy, howdy. That does not seem like a good decision looking at it now.
This is boy howdy.
We need it, boy howdy.
That's Ziggy's catchphrase.
I don't quite know how that became the catchphrase,
well,
but
I've never heard
look.
anyone say boy howdy.
Google it. Boy howdy's a phrase. I didn't even come up with it. But look.
Where are they? In Virginia?
It's a Southern thing, yeah.
Boy
but
howdy.
Look, we can stop talking about the things I say and say this. Look. The Texans' offensive line has been ravaged, right? Besides like Shaq Mason, who's maybe the best right guard in the entire league, starters are just cycling in and out of that offensive line. And they've done a decent job protecting CJ Stroud. There's been a good scheme. There's been good performance. And Stroud, when the protection has fallen apart, has sort of taken advantage of here. He's made up for those mistakes. So he's taking advantage of the good protection, making it work when the protection's not good. 0 interceptions. Like, he just doesn't look like a rookie out there.
Yeah.
You very rarely see rookies. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. Sorry.
You don't see rookies not throw interceptions. You don't see them not make bad throws. You don't see them not have turnovers.
Yeah. His 151 pass attempts is the 3rd most from a rookie ever without throwing an interception, behind only Dak and your boy Tua, Zach. Like, I mean, another stat here that Texans fans will love: 1,221 pass yards, 2nd most by a player in his first 4 games in NFL history, behind Cam Newton. Like, we're actually talking about a historic start to a career, and it doesn't feel that way maybe because the Texans are just now kind of coming on over the past 2 weeks. Weeks 1, 2 were fairly forgettable, but right now it is. I mean, he's one of the top stories in the NFL is CJ Stroud and what he can turn into. I'm really excited to see him go into Atlanta this week against the Falcons team that is good, but very beatable. And this is a chance to get a big win. At 3 in a row, people are going to start talking.
Yeah, if you can get another road win against a team who's looking decent enough and get to 3-2, that's really impressive stuff.
The whole Texans draft class right now: Will Anderson, Tank Dell, Henry To'oTo'o, like they've just drafted excellently this offseason, so it appears, at least through 4 games. I'm going to give him an A. That's the grade that I'm going to go with for CJ Stroud. An A. Not A+, just, I mean, look, when you talk about these starts, it's hard not to say A+, but I'm going to go with an A.
I mean, if he had won in Baltimore, it's an A++.
If they're 4-0, he's an A+.
Yeah, I'd give him an A.
Yeah, if CJ Stroud, I agree with you guys, A. If he plays well next week, A+. Like, if he does well against Atlanta, you have to start talking about him as just a straight up top 10 quarterback in the league.
Oh,
that's unreal.
An MVP candidate. He could actually be I know that's a little bit of a stretch for me right now, but all those guys I just mentioned, Manning, MVP, Brady, MVP, Mahomes, Rodgers, the numbers that he has and that are comparable. Like, yeah, I guess CJ Stroud is right. He's probably a top 10 MVP candidate at the moment. Which is crazy to say, but he probably is.
Nobody would have thought that did the first 4 weeks.
Before we move on to game picks, Ziggy, I'll just ask you, just for fun here. Between Richardson, Love, and Stroud right now, how would you rank them 1 to 3? In terms of who, let's say, and let's make it even jazzier. Let's say, who would you want for the rest of the season?
I think there's only one answer for the rest of the season. Number 1, Stroud. Number 2, Richardson. Number 3, Love. I actually think all 3 of those guys, when the season goes down, are going to be looked at as above average quarterbacks, which is pretty impressive, frankly. But I think the CJ Stroud has to be number 1. There's no question about it. He has played better than any of these guys. Richardson is improving, and the rushing upside just makes him a threat like very few quarterbacks in the NFL are. If you can get into the red zone with Anthony Richardson, you're going to get a touchdown. Crazy. And Jordan Love is good, but he hasn't shown enough to me to either make up for how well Stroud has played or the kind of upside Richardson's giving you for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think that's very fair, and I agree with those rankings.
I'd probably go Stroud, Love, Richardson.
Yeah.
Because to me, Richardson probably has a higher ceiling and is probably going to be better than Jordan Love over some time. But I think this season, the floor is just lower for Love and the bust potential is higher for Richardson.
For this
year alone. That's probably all I'd base that off of.
No, I think both those arguments.
Stroud's obviously number one.
So let's do some game picks. How about that, Zach? Can we cue up some music here?
Part.
Love game picks. Well,
I
wish we had more like. If we had an editing team or something, man, that would be pretty sick. Have like graphics pop up during this, but
hey, if folks subscribe one of these days.
Oh, could be cool. Let's start off Thursday night football. Bears at Commanders. Washington, a 5.5 point favorite.
Yeah, we'll never ever bet the Bears, so I'm gonna go Washington.
I want to take the Bears so badly. I just got off the phone. I talked to Weston Dell, our friend who's a Bears fan last night. He tried a little bit to make me believe. Actually, that's not true. He didn't try at all. He said the season's doomed, so I agree with him. Give me the Commanders.
I almost got the Commanders right last week. Give me the Commanders.
Yeah, I almost took the Bears last week. Never again. Commanders. Jacksonville Jacksonville at Buffalo, but it's in London. The Bills, 5.5 point favorites.
Buffalo's a much better team, but Jacksonville's in the spot. Got Jacksonville.
I am going to take the Bills offense over anyone until proven otherwise. Give me Buffalo.
Jags have been in London. Give me London.
Wow, it is the home away from home, but Buffalo's too good. Defense too good, offense too good. I got the Bills. I think they cover too. Houston at Atlanta. This is one game that we were talking about before the show. Can go both ways. Falcons are a 2 point favorite.
I got the Falcons edging out Houston close. Game-winning field goal in the end.
Close.
Game-winning field goal in the end.
Young way. Cool.
Yep. From Jersey.
Yeah. After what we've seen from the Falcons offense and from Desmond Ridder, I think they are in Bears territory where I'm not sure there's a team I'd take them over. Meanwhile, the Texans have a top 10 quarterback. Give me the Texans all day.
Give me the Texans.
You know, I like the Texans, and I'm starting to buy into the CJ Stroud hype a lot more. But I think Atlanta comes away with this one. Just at home, I think their ground attack is going to get I don't trust Desmond Ridder much at all. But they have a good defense, better defense than any of us really realized. And Bijan could have a big day. I'm going to go Atlanta. Not super confident about it, though. Tennessee at Indianapolis. Titans, a 1.5 point favorite over maybe the show's favorite player, Anthony Richardson.
You know, we just talked up AR for so long. I mean, you've seen the potential, what he can do. We got to take him at home here as a home dog against the Titans. Titans have a big win, too. Bit hungover. I got the Colts.
This Titans team, I've said it a few times, we've learned nothing about them through 4 weeks. Close loss to the Saints, close win over the Chargers, blowout to the Browns, blowout win over the Bengals.
So weird.
They're a real wild card. On the other hand, the Colts have put together the best game of any of those teams. Overtime win over the Ravens, overtime loss to the Rams. I'm going to take the Colts and add a little spice. I think we're going to get overtime 3 weeks in a row.
Wow, hell of a prediction.
Oh, go to the overtime odds on these sports books.
I think Ryan Tannehill's garbage. He only has like 2 touchdowns on the season. Give me AR.
I'm rooting for the Colts, and I would love to see the Colts win. But I do have the Titans as my AFC South
Titans
champion, and after what they did to the Bengals last week, the Titans 19 pressures, 9 QB hurries, 7 QB hits. I know Richardson's great under pressure so far this year, but I'm gonna go Tennessee. Not in an upset. I mean, I'm lone wolfing this as on a favorite right here. Carolina at Detroit, big spread, 9.5 point favorites are the Lions.
Yeah, Bryce Young's back. He's healthy. He's the worst quarterback the league will ever see. At the Lions winning by multiple scores.
Yeah,
I'm Bryce every week. Every week I'm playing against Bryce Young.
If Bad Andy were playing, then I think the Panthers would have a chance. But Bad Andy is not playing. Bad Bryce is playing, and Bad Bryce is bad in the way you do not want your players to be bad. Give me the Lions.
And we all knew this too. We all knew this.
Fourth game of his career right now.
I'm not saying that Bryce Young is going to be a bad player forever, but he has not shown enough, and he's in a bad offense. Like, I'm not saying that he's doing anything wrong.
Okay. I'm just checking you guys, because Stroud and Richardson are just off to awesome starts. Doesn't mean Bryce Young is going to suck.
In about 3 years,
they'll be picking Caleb Williams in about 7 months.
In about 3 years, when I'm walking to get my my morning bagel, Bryce Young, he'll be doing.
Oh my god. Zach, who do you have?
I will take. They're playing the Lions.
Surely you're taking.
I'm surely taking the Lions.
Okay. I also have Detroit in this one. They might even be my survivor pick. I think they are going to be my survivor pick. Yeah.
I give my sister her picks weekly. That's probably mine too.
Well, I thought she's out. Didn't you eliminate her?
No, she has 2 strikes.
Okay.
I gave her the Jags and the Texans beat them. But now I'm gonna give her the Lions.
Maybe another rookie quarterback strikes. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Again, great rivalry, great matchups. Baltimore a 4-point favorite on the road.
Mitch comes in, lights a fire under the boys. We get this season-saving dub at home to recapture first place in the North.
That's crazy. If the Steelers are in first place after 5 weeks, the way they've looked, that division's a joke.
This is a huge game, and we're gonna win.
All right, Ziggy.
The Ravens are great against injured quarterbacks. The Steelers have an injured quarterback. Therefore, the Ravens win the game.
He's not playing. He's not going to play.
Can he? Yeah, he said he's playing.
He's not going to play. Mitch is going to play.
It doesn't.
Yeah, see, this is a man who's delusional. When he's like trying to convince me that their like prized second-year quarterback isn't playing and therefore they have a chance, that's how you know the team's going to lose.
That's so sad. You've been hyping up Kenny Pickett all offseason. We're in the first week of October and you're begging for Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky!
I think that we gave Mitch too short of a leash.
Oh my God!
How bad have things gotten in Pittsburgh?
I want to see Mitch again.
Steelers Nation listening should be throwing up in their mouths right now.
They agree with me.
No offense to Mitch, I think Mitch is a fine backup, but you're begging for Mitch Trubisky.
His leash was too short.
What a joke!
We gotta give him a second chance here.
Oh my gosh, Zach.
Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens are gonna mop this team. Giants. Speaking of getting mopped, the Giants at the Dolphins. Dolphins a 10.5-point favorite coming off a big loss to the Bills.
I already gave her the survivor pick, and it was the Dolphins. I remember. The Dolphins. I gave, I'll never take Giants ever again either. It's Dolphins.
Yeah, look, I think the biggest surprise of the Giants season is actually that they beat the Cardinals. Because this Cardinals team looks okay, and this Giants team doesn't. Dolphins might be the easiest pick of the week.
I don't have to say anything.
I mean, you don't have to say anything. We all know.
No, the Dolphins could be playing the 1985 Bears, and you'd pick the Dolphins by alt spread minus 20.5.
Hey, you know who beat the 1985 Bears? They're 15-1.
Yeah,
the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
So you would have won that week.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, you would have won that. Yeah. The Giants started last year 6-1. Since then, they are 10. I'm sorry. Since then, they are 5-10-1. This team is bad.
I thought it'd be worse.
No, this team is bad. And we all said, we warned all the Giants fans, the team's not very good.
I mean, it'll be a Giants home game.
I'm going to keep repeating
this.
But
the Dolphins are going to win.
Yeah.
They upgraded their wide receivers.
They're just not that good. And they're in a lot of trouble.
It'll be a Giants home game.
But look, I don't hate the Giants. People think that we hate the Giants on this show. We don't. We just don't think they're very good. If they're good, I'm happy because it's a little more fun around here during the season. Like, there's nothing I like more than watching the Giants-Eagles and rooting for the Giants to beat them. December football when they have the Christmas lights on the screen. Like, that is awesome.
I'm always
but it's not
the Giants in the playoffs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I hate the Giants.
I always kind of like the Eli. Saints at Patriots. New Orleans, a 1-point favorite.
I'll take the. I'll flip a coin. Heads is the Saints, tails is the. I'll take the Pats there at home with Belichick.
Yeah, I would not want to play Bill Belichick coming off this kind of a
his worst loss ever. Yeah,
he is summoning demons who are coming out to like teach him the ways to beat the Saints. This man is not happy. I am taking the Patriots by 1 million here. They are not going to take this line down.
I hate the Pats. So let's take the Saints all day.
Well, yeah, but fair enough. I have the Patriots. I like Belichick's defense. The Saints' offense has been sketchy. I know that Derek Carr is injured. He's banged up, and that's even more reason to like New England in this one.
Off the worst loss of his career too, and at home.
I might say Patriots +1. Patriots money line bet. I love that this week actually.
I do too.
I really talked myself into loving this pick.
I do too.
Eagles at Rams. Eagles a 4.5-point favorite in Los Angeles.
Matthew Stafford's my fantasy QB this week because I finally benched Joe Burrow. I'll never play him again. And for me to have some big time points means a lot of scoring from the Rams to keep up with the Eagles. So I'll go with the Rams.
So you're going with Matthew Stafford against the Eagles defense as opposed to Joe Burrow against the Cardinals.
I'll never play Burrow again. He's done. Rams.
Honestly, I also think the Rams. Cooper Kupp, there's some thought that he might be back. Even if he's not,
Byron.
Despite the Rams having one of the worst offensive lines in the league, Matthew Stafford has been able to get it done. I think he's going to continue getting it done. He's the better quarterback. It's the better offense. Give me the Rams.
What? The hell are you smoking over there?
You're acting like this is a 12.5-point spread, not 4.
You're acting like the Eagles are the best D-line in football and one of the best off. What do you mean?
The Eagles do have an
offense than the Eagles.
They do. I don't know what else to tell you, man.
Hey, I agree. That's what we the Rams do.
Yeah, it's like the Bucks game all over again.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, Eagles. I enough.
All right, Ziggy, let's do this.
Bengals at Cardinals. Bengals a 3-point favorite. Hey, we like the Cardinals here.
And we have a new worst team in the league. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'll take Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals in a blowout. No, this won't be close. It'll be a blowout. Cardinals.
This Bengals team, though every single projection about them is about halfway between what they've played like and what they could play like if they were really, really good, right? If everything goes back to normal. Until we see the Bengals go back to normal, I'm going to treat them like the team we have seen. The Cardinals are better than that team. Give me the Cards.
Man, I've been on the Cardinals all year. All year.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get reeled in by Cincinnati and go with the Bengals. I'm gonna lone wolf this one
for the Bengals.
They can't be this bad all the time, can they? Maybe they just suck. They might just suck, but I'm gonna keep getting suckered into it. So they suck. Chiefs 4-point favorites at US Bank Stadium. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
I want to take Minnesota so bad. Is it at 1 o'clock?
It's 4:25.
Oh no, I like Kirk at 1.
Damn it!
I like Kirk at 1. I want to take you guys back. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I think your secondary gets mopped up.
Dude, Herbert threw for 450. Herbert could have thrown with his left hand to Keenan Allen, and he would have thrown for 300. Yeah. Ziggy, you with us?
I'm not. I've picked the Vikings once this year. I can't pick them twice. In the same way, I'm not picking Belichick coming off a humiliation. I'm not picking Patrick Mahomes coming off a humiliation. Paul, you've seen our secondary.
I know. You've
seen our pass rush.
I know. I've seen
Patrick Mahomes and frankly, the Bergen County All-Star wide receivers torch the Vikings secondary. So I am all day. Give me the Chiefs.
The Bergen County All-Star receivers will be playing big-time college football soon. I mean, maybe.
I mean, they actually might.
You never know.
Yeah. Average quarterback. We don't like average quarterbacks here. So I'll take Patrick Mahomes all day.
You gonna lone wolf it?
Well, what's the date right now? Today's October 4th?
October 4th. Almost our birthdays.
Yeah, October 4th. Kirktober has begun. It started off with a win against Carolina. Kirk is unstoppable in this month. And it leads to Kirksember. We got past September. Wasn't the start we wanted. Actually, it's as bad as we could have asked for.
There's never been a Kirktember, really.
There has never been one.
Yeah, there's never really been
Kirktober, we know. I can't pick against my team in Kirktober.
Especially at home.
At home. And we can take anyone at home. Lone wolf it again. Jets at Broncos. Man, how great would it have been for Rodgers in this one? The Hackett revenge. Oh, that's okay. You got Zach Wilson. And apparently Jets fans, our friend Andrew said he's never seen Zach Wilson look that good before. And that he's back. So
this is the toilet bowl. But I think the Jets are a bit better than the Broncos. It took, a 21-3 comeback against the Bears to get their first win of the year. I got the Jets here.
Broncos are favored by 1.5.
I got the Jets.
The Broncos made Justin Fields look like an NFL star. The Broncos made Sam Howell look like an NFL star. The Broncos made the Jimmy G Raiders. He threw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. They made Tua Tagovailoa look like Superman. Not saying that Tua's not good, but he's not putting out 70 points most weeks. This defense is the worst in the NFL. Even Zach Wilson can take advantage of that. I got to go with the Jets here.
Just because, AFC East. I'm going to take the Broncos.
Just because of the AFC East?
Just because of the AFC East.
Well, not only is the Broncos defense bad, but going against that Jets defense, Russell Wilson and co., I mean, that's not going to be good. And we have to remember, who were those comments made about by Sean Payton? It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. It was Nathaniel Hackett. And if you don't think they're going to be talking about that all week in the Jets locker room, then you're just dead wrong here. I like the Jets to go into Denver and beat the Broncos. How about one time, Jack and Ziggy, we do this? Just one time. J-E-T-S, Jets. Cowboys at 49ers. 49ers, 3.5-point favorites. Oh, I'm so back and forth on this.
It'll be 23-17 San Fran. Dallas is driving. Late pick. San Fran wins the game by 6.
Okay.
In the famous words of Wiz Khalifa, we dem boys. Cowboys are going to San Francisco. They are going to beat the 49ers in a close one. I got the Cowboys all day, all night.
Give me the 49ers.
Zach just barely even acknowledged the Cowboys' existence there.
Zach, are you baked?
No, definitely not baked.
Look, I want to say Dallas because they have that game circled, and they're begging to win this one, dying for this. I just don't think they're better than the 49ers. The 49ers are just better, so I'm going to go San Francisco.
At home, too.
It feels like a game that you could see the Cowboys winning, but the 49ers are awesome. Purdy's never lost. He's 9-0 as a starter. It's they have to lose at some point, right?
Well, you never know.
I don't know. Can you imagine if he just never lost? At what point is he the best quarterback ever? How many wins does it take to be the best quarterback ever?
If he goes undefeated this year, wins the Super Bowl, he's the best quarterback ever.
Packers at Raiders, our final game of the week. Jordan Love and the Green Bay are 1-point favorites in Vegas.
I think the Raiders are such trash. The Packers aren't. They're decent. So I'll take the Packers here.
Raiders almost beat you guys.
We killed the Raiders. I don't want to hear that. It was 23-7 with 8
you're
minutes
trash
left.
too, to be fair.
We murked them.
Ziggy?
Look, I agree with Jack. This Raiders team is not good. The Packers are functional. They keep getting guys back. At a certain point, this Packers team is going to get it together. I think that they're the team to go with. And do we know if Jimmy G is playing this week?
I don't know if anything's confirmed yet.
If Jimmy G is not playing, it's not even close. If Jimmy G's playing, I've still got the Packers, but that's going to be a lot closer.
It's only a 1-point spread. I bet he's playing. The way he's not playing, what is it, probably 6?
Right. You're right. Jimmy G's probably playing. Let's go under the assumption he plays.
Sure. If he plays, then give me Jimmy G all day.
Oh, okay. So we do have a Raiders pick here. Could this be a Devontae Adams 500-yard legacy game
against his old squad?
Against his old squad. I have Green Bay as well. Even though I don't like to pick the Packers, I'm going to do that here. If Aiden O'Connell winds up playing,
then
you want to switch.
Yeah, I'm taking Jordan Love.
Okay, just clarify.
Their backup is Aiden O'Connell, the Purdue kid.
Yeah,
he's not bad.
No, he looked absolutely awful last game.
It was horrible.
Look, Mike
preseason he was great. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Listen, you have McDaniels doing this offense. Josh McDaniels, I don't trust him to put an offense together. No quarterback's ever going to develop with him. It's no good. Did you see that Mark Davis almost got in a fight with some Raiders fans who were saying that yelling at him to fire Josh McDaniels?
Yeah.
I have not seen that yet.
I mean, the same team who lost by 30 to Houston beat the Raiders. The Raiders are terrible.
Yeah, Houston might be the Raiders by that. I mean, you guys both stink.
We don't stink that bad.
You were sitting here 30 minutes ago begging for your franchise quarterback to be benched for Mitch.
Yeah, and when Mitch comes in, we take a lead in the AFC North. I'm back on board.
Yeah, again, if the Steelers have the lead in the AFC North 5 weeks through the year with the way they've looked, it is
the Raiders have no chance to win anything. We have a chance to win the division.
Jack, what did you say last episode about the Steelers?
I said we're cooked. Then I realized the AFC North is not a good division. We can win this division.
Yeah, it's all right. That leads us in, though, to Jack's Cap of the Week. And we're coming off a pretty big dub from Auburn. You had 14.5.
I had 14.5. I had 15.5. I had 16.5.
But, man, the money line almost hit, too. So you almost had him outright.
I was had him outright. It was close. But a good cap dub. I was 3-0 last week, too. You can ask Zach's uncles for confirmation.
Yes, sir.
See what he does with the mic. See how his mic is up, covering his face again.
Look, I don't
what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Sit back a little bit. Why are you so on top of everything here?
Well, can you hear me? Can you hear me like this?
Yeah, the mic is here.
Oh, okay. So I don't need to be like that?
No, you talk into the mic. Yeah.
All right. So this is a funny one. And this cap came to me as I was driving home last week from the destination of my last cap, which is Auburn. And we were about halfway home. We stopped in Blacksburg to have dinner near Virginia Tech.
Interesting choice.
We parked in this little parking lot, and it had parking meters. And there's only one space left, and this guy took it. And we're so hungry at this point. We're like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, dude. And the guy pulls out, and we're like, wait a minute. Why are you pulling out? The guy's like, I don't have change to pay this parking meter. So my dad and I are like, oh, thank God. Thank God for this parking meter. Or else we wouldn't be eating dinner tonight. The parking meter was invented in the great state of Oklahoma. And because of that, I'm fading the Longhorns hard.
Whoa.
And taking those Oklahoma Sooners plus 6.5 and a money line sprinkle in the Red River Rivalry.
Wow.
Horns down. Boomer. Sooner.
That's a big one. I did not see that coming. Sheesh. Picking against Texas is red hot. People are high on Texas.
Texas beat Bama before Bama had it figured out. Bama's my championship pick, by the way. And Texas beat them.
They can't throw the football.
Texas beat them before Bama had it figured out.
Wow. I mean, just to clarify, yeah, Milroe and Buckner can't throw the football.
If you win this, I'm giving up. Like I sit here, I crunch numbers, I make models, I try and do reasoned analysis. You see a parking meter, and somehow this convinces you to back Oklahoma.
I mean, the Eagle.
This works. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
The Eagle convinced him.
Look, at the end of the day, when you talk about a full season, the cap will have a winning record. I mean, the cap wins.
Cap wins.
The cap wins.
I just want to put it out there. That was probably the greatest text Jack's ever sent in our group chat.
Which one?
When Auburn was up.
Oh, he said
oh, yeah. Ziggy's like, wow, the cap's looking really good. Auburn's up 17-10. I'm like, I saw a freaking eagle in my backyard.
Freaking is what he said.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, all right. There you go. The cap of the week. Oklahoma 6.5?
Plus 6.5. Dylan Gabriel, baby. Dylan Gabriel's better than Quinn Ewers.
Is that better? What does Notre Dame want? Notre Dame wants Oklahoma to win. Definitely, right?
Nobody on this podcast cares about Notre Dame.
Dude, it's a freaking sign right there. Everyone sees it.
Sorry, not on this podcast. Sorry. People outside of this podcast don't care about Notre Dame.
I mean, talk about the cap. Hold on a second.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised how many Notre Dame fans there are.
I'm sure.
This is a Notre Dame show. At its heart. At its heart, it's a Notre Dame show.
Oh, we got a great story, too. We got recognized at the AB&G.
Did we?
Yeah. By Mr. Kunish himself.
Not really. We'll get there for another day. Yeah, that was a funny interaction, though. All right. Thanks again. Damn, I forgot to ask for subscribe and comments during the middle of the show. Always do that. It's at the beginning and end, never in the middle when people actually watch. Damn. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Every subscriber does go a long way. We could have a pretty exciting announcement for our shows next week. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time. Ziggy, sleep well.